Hello, everyone, and welcome back to This Week in Guns, brought to you by Patriot Patch Company and Primary Arms. This show offers commentary on all of the latest firearms industry news, information, and buzz. I'm your host, Matt Larosiere, and I'm here as usual with Shawn Herrin, and joining us as special guest, Kevin Nguyen. Kevin.
Hey guys, my name is Kevin, or Vin Nguyen, also works too. You guys might have heard of me on Twitter. I make the wacky gun designs and stuff, and especially I'm pretty public too with, the weird guns and politic content as well as I do a lot of the some back-end work for Deterrence Suspense too. So it's a big honor to be here with you guys.
Oh, well, stop. What I was going to ask is, who are you and how'd you get in the stream? But I guess you preempted that.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, no. So those debt discs guys, they're really big hackers, and he must have found the link and he just wouldn't leave. So, but yeah, we're happy to have him. But yeah, no, Kevin is a really one, a great guy, and two, a really big member of the 3D printing community. Why don't you show off a couple of your designs?
Yeah, sure. So my claim to fame right here is my Heritage Rough Rider Picatinny attachment with the buffer tube adapter. You can put a stock or a brace on it. And I'm not going to do any moving parts and stuff on here. And I also experimented with a variety of bizarre designs too, like this one here, the Superstar STR-15, yes. RIP Karen Carpenter. 22, long trigger bow, made to be compliant. But if you're in this field, are you really out here for compliance, or are you here to make wacky stuff?
Right, but you came up with that trigger yourself, n'est-ce pas?
Yeah, and then another developer came in, offered his model of reinforcement with like a nail, a piece of a nail gun staple.
Oh,
it was
amazing.
Yeah, it was ingenious, actually. It worked pretty well, but later on, I actually plan to incorporate Ivan's Common Sense AR fire control group into this design too, so there's a more reliable trigger.
Well, I just want to say, I knew Kevin before he was big. That's right. That's us. I've got the Rough Rider, and that was your
show it again.
One of your pistols.
Right, that's there. The DS 1913.
Right. That's when we met last year at Firearms and Bitcoin, and you've just been working your butt off ever since, and man, you've done incredible things, and I mean, you are a engineer of sorts, but you're not a mechanical engineer, are you?
I am not. I'm a software engineer by education and by profession.
Right, and so I think it just goes to show that anyone with the interest and with the drive can get into this and can make their own designs. Would you agree?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right on, right on. Well, yeah, so again, happy to have you. And like, what's your @ on Twitter or your favorite social media in case people want to go follow you?
My @ on Twitter is Nguyen, KVVN. That's NGUYEN KVVN.
All right, well, dope. Shawn, let's talk about something else pretty cool.
Let's do it.
Primary Arms.
I love Primary Arms.
They're nice to us.
They are. I actually do like Primary Arms, and they have these pants, which I was just looking at the picture.
I think you would look so good in those.
Dude, can you imagine me in Alexo Athletica pants?
Okay, hold on. Let me do that right now.
Yep, you finished.
Maybe just close your eyes and just, there he is.
That's like if you want to field, it's totally fine. And they actually have a card. Those pants are actually pretty good if your wife or girlfriend is looking into considering. Or me. Yeah, I carry things in my prison purse though, so it's fine.
Well, yeah. So I mean, Primary Arms, not just the normal stuff you'd expect. A lot of different interesting stuff on there. So absolutely. Yeah, you want to go on there? Go to frn.deals/PA.
Exactly. Go check them out. Let them know that you love This Week in Guns, and especially Matt L.
Yeah, me. It's me. It's about me. So
they listen to the show, by the way. So.
Oh, oops. Well, whatever.
No, it was you. I literally said your name, and then you said that's me. So, like, yeah.
Well, we do love their products. I love hanging out with them. And I always say it, but it's rare to meet people in the gun industry that are like actual, just regular gun guys, and that's how they are, and it's really cool.
Definitely.
But so we will go into the first news story.
All right,
and this is an interesting op-ed I saw in Liberty Park Press, and it links a lot of different stuff going on. So the title is "Gun Control Quagmire is Getting Worse, but Reality May Be Setting In." And so we've kind of noticed that the whole tough on guns thing hasn't calmed down, but the lizards that are in power, the president, the vice president, have been passing the buck more recently onto the congressional lizards. And, they're no longer pushing the executive rhetoric as aggressively. So I'm wondering, could this be a mark of them kind of realizing they might have stretched a little too far, kind of realizing that public support might not be what they thought it was? I don't know. What do you guys think? Kevin, people around you, people in your life, right? Like broadly, not just in the gun community. How have their opinions kind of changed on gun control?
Well, I know within my family, yes, for sure. I know especially around the community here, with more people buying guns, and especially after the whole COVID scare last year, and even up to today, with more people buying guns, I think that, like you said, the lizards in power, they may have overestimated the support that they would get for banning guns now that everyone and their mama has a gun now.
Yeah, I watched
last year.
In fact, I watched your uncle buy a gun in person, didn't I?
That's so creepy.
You did. Yeah.
And like he was not into them before, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh man, I want you to come meet my family," and they're all huddled around this table with a CZ Scorpion, I think, or was it some SIG thing? And they were just like, "Ooh, this is great."
Yeah.
Yeah. But
they are.
Yeah, times are changing, and I think Shawn?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that they're in the same echo chamber that we often find ourselves in, right? Like the people that they talk to, their colleagues, their peers, all these things. They are the people who want gun control for whatever reason that I can't comprehend or understand. But we all get stuck in these echo chambers, and then sometimes you say something out loud and people get upset about it, and then they're like, "Oh, whoa, wait, how is this different from what I think and what my circles think?" And I think we all fall into it, and I think maybe they've fallen into it as well. I think I saw an article today, actually, and I don't know how true this is, but it said the NRA is picking up 1,000 new members a day, 7 days a week, 30 days a month, except in February or other months that have more days than that. But picking up 1,000 members a day, like when we sit here and we podcast and we create content for guns and things like that, we think basically that the NRA is non-existent. However, in the real world, where they're not living in that echo chamber, new people are buying guns. 8 to 10 million bought guns in the last year because they saw that the world is a scary and dangerous place, and they are seeking. Whether it's instruction, whether it's advocacy, whether it's just to find out a little bit more, and everybody knows the NRA. So I think that gun control advocates are somehow entrenched in the same echo chambers that we find ourselves in. That was a really long way for me to get back to the exact same point that I started with.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I mean, look, length sells.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, you would. But yeah, so that I wonder if it's, them actually, because at a certain point you gotta look at the scoreboard and you gotta look at what your chances are in getting through with this, and not in every circuit, but in a lot of parts of the court system, things aren't looking so good for some of the more ambitious steps that they want to take, and that's why I think that we've seen more of the focus on like redefinitions and import control type stuff, because presidents have gotten away with that for ages. So I kind of think that might be what's going on. But what I hope is that they're saying, oh, people generally don't like this. But, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to put on my skeptic hat. I really do believe that most people who are really anti-gun, the reason that they are that way is because It's like we've talked about many times. We don't share a core fundamental understanding, or not even understanding. We don't. The basis of our arguments are not the same, right? Like we're not coming from the same ballpark at all. Like for us, this is a tool. It has a lot of utility. I use it for X and Y and Z, and you can save your life, etc. And to them, a gun is a social contagion, and its very presence is toxic. And and that's why they use the like public health right type of rhetoric, because to them guns are cholera. You just have to get rid of it no matter what. So I think we're a long way away from sitting down with these people and actually getting to sit on common ground. But who knows? Just nothing could go wrong. Well, for us, by people, more people becoming gun owners and more gun owners going out and speaking in a friendly way with their neighbors.
And honestly, like new people that are joining the NRA, good job. Like, great. I may disagree with everything the NRA does. I may despise the organization, but man, if people are like becoming members and doing things, it's going to increase their lobbying power overall. And I'm for it all.
I'm for people doing what they want. So
exactly, yeah.
If they want to join the NRA, whatever.
Yep. Do what you want.
Yeah, do it.
Not what I would do. It's not what I would coach my friends and family to do. But yeah, I'm down. Do it.
Right.
Whatever you want.
Oh, all right. Cool. So the next up, we got something really infuriating. This made me so mad. How often do you guys hear the word loophole, right, when talking about gun stuff?
Too often.
Daily,
right. And so what percentage do you reckon of the times people refer to loopholes, or is there actually a loophole?
1%.
Yeah, that's being very generous. So, yeah, there's this like awful, just like slop that was put out by the New York Post that Shawn's got up on screen right now. And it's the contention, it's an Associated Press article, that mass shooters exploited gun laws and loopholes before carnage. And it lists, and so right. So the suggestion here is that these are loopholes that allow these people to, get a gun. But it just lists every, shooting they can think of, and just like asserts that they could get a gun. And right, like that's the issue. Like the Boulder shooting, which was awful. Mm-hmm. Right. He was convicted of misdemeanor assault. That's not prohibiting. So, a regular misto assault is not prohibiting. Misto domestic is, but right. So, like, this isn't a loophole. It's a misdemeanor. And then, we go on. This person, the Atlanta shooting, and Vin, this is somewhere that's very close to home for you. They're talking about how the shooter claimed to have a sex addiction. And then they point out here that despite being addicted to sex, that federal law bans guns for people who are unlawful users of or addicted to a controlled substance. I mean, I guess sex is pretty controlled.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be, right? Like, yeah, I mean, you see their point, don't you? You see their point. He was addicted to sex, so like, how was he able to go and buy a gun?
That's probably one of the most contrived way of using substance, of trying to like shoehorn in.
Dude, you can't go and having like sex freaks going out and buying guns.
Bro, I wouldn't be able to own one gun. Wait. Okay, so you read on, it says who've been court ordered to a mental health or substance treatment facility, but doesn't mention treatment for other compulsions as a barrier to ownership. I have a compulsion to drink whiskey too. That's alcoholism, but
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, how do people make these logic leaps? Because I was listening to every word you said, but I felt like I somehow faded out for 7 minutes while I told the whole story. What?
Yeah, I mean, look, whenever I see a good deal on an old, like, junky French or Florida-made gun, I feel like people have seen me, like, it's like I go on it like a magnet. Should I be, if I volunteer to go to, French gun therapy treatment, right, should I not be able to own guns anymore? I mean, that seems like a bad deal. It might be a way to cure my addiction, right, by force, but I don't.
Yeah, like, I swear, every single time. Where is it? This is how I feel. I'll put it up on screen. The Hillary.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, that's how I feel when I read crap like this. So dumb. I can't even.
Yeah. No, it's like, it's just massively contrived. It's like, the people died and I don't like the thing. And so look, the guy, and he drank water and you can wash the gun in water.
I literally got a headache just reading that one sentence.
Vin, what's your take?
Whenever I hear someone say things like loophole or like embellish / emphasize on like a particular part of the facts, it just seems just blatantly obvious to me that they're trying to put a spin on it. Like last time I checked, following the law is not a loophole. In Georgia, it's legal for you to buy a gun and pick up the same day. That's not a loophole. That's just the law.
And the way it should be, really.
Mm-hmm, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no loopholes. Like we talk about what went on in Boulder, Colorado. Boulder has ridiculously strict gun laws because Colorado has stupid gun laws. And they even tried to go one step forward. And we talked about it, I think, last week, where they removed one of those hurdles to free and private citizenship. But like there was no loopholes. Like the FBI knew about this guy, and he passed the background check. And for the people that are like, well, I mean, if he would have been denied for some reason, even if it affects your freedom, is that worth it? And when those 10 people are still alive, no, sorry, dangerous freedom.
It's your Monday morning quarterbacking. Right?
Right.
Like, well, also, what if, like, check this out. What if before each one of these shootings, I teleported in and tied their shoelaces together? Would that stop the shooting?
The guy probably in New Zealand, because he was like running through that.
But I'm just saying, like, you can pick any tiny thing. It's like, what if we poisoned him, right? Like, what if he went to McDonald's and had breakfast at McDonald's this morning, and he got sick and he had to go to the bathroom, right?
Well, the butterfly effect.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. You can pick on any stupid little thing, right? But guess what? Let's say maybe the guy did get denied. If he wanted to do something bad, what do you think he's going to do? Go, heck, you got me, government. Shuck. Guess I'll go live a productive and happy life.
I just don't understand. This article is garbage. Like, the more I read, the more I'm like, what?
All of these journalists should feel like really bad.
Is this opinion? No, this is by the AP. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, like, and so that means like NYP paid like dollar money, like human currency, American fiat, to get this cat's breakfast and spread it on their page.
This is how we get to idiocracy, is because people read this and they believe this.
Right.
Most of the population of the world is stupid.
Yep.
And
I'm stupid.
Yeah.
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 Then you big dumb.
I have the big dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have 2 dumbs, please.
Oh, all right. Let's talk about another evil organization, not just the print media.
Oh I saw this and I was like, oh man, I can't wait to talk to Matt about this.
Oh my God. There's something I got a lot of like flack when I was. And I'm not saying, and listen, Bar Association, I'm not saying anything. I'm just pointing out something that happened to me. Right before I applied to sit for the Florida Bar, I had written an op-ed on the ABA's like vicious hatred of our civil rights. And then suddenly my application got held up really hard. And I got admitted like 9 months after everybody else. So that was cool. But I'm not saying it was their fault. It could have been, whatever. But so yeah, the ABA, for those of you who don't know, is this like, so let me just give you my experience with the APA. You sit for the bar, you pass the bar, you become a lawyer, and then you start getting these letters from this organization that like, and they seem really government and they seem required. And it's like, warning, your ABA membership is expiring. You must renew. And so basically it's this like conglomerate of lawyers that have tricked lawyers all over the nation into giving them money. Because I really do think that most members are accidental, because you get this really official letter saying it's going to expire, you need to renew right now. So it's a voluntary association of lawyers that does a bunch of nonsense. I don't really understand what they do. It's aside from send themselves on expensive vacations. But in a lot of ways, they have fought for civil rights, and they fought for due process, unless you're a gun owner, right? Because those aren't people.
No, definitely.
So they put out the ABA president put out this letter to Senate leadership, of course, during a time where the Senate is the key ground right here. Writing talking about how we need to reduce gun violence, and these are the steps that the ABA supports. These are the steps that the lazy lawyers that we tricked into giving us money support.
At first, I was like, "Wait, this is the group that proctors the bar exams." And then I did a very quick Google search, and I was like, "Oh no, this is not them at all. Like, who is this?" And then I was like, "Oh, this is like a fraternity."
Yeah, it's the largest voluntary association of attorneys and legal professionals in the world.
That sounds a lot. Sorry.
Go on.
That sounds a lot like honorsociety.org or something, where you send to high schoolers and say, you can pay X amount of money, have your name in the book, and get a little bumper sticker that says, I've been conned.
Well, yeah, no, but they've got tremendous lobbying power because they do have all of this money from what they do, and they go throwing their weight around, and so they're supporting universal background checks, getting rid of the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, which, hey, you're lawyers, you're supposed to know what product liability is and how it actually works, so why are you trying to throw a wrench into it? Red flags, safe storage, like armed intimidation? What? It's like weird. It's weird. I mean, I recommend you check it out if you want to. If your blood pressure is feeling a little low, maybe you were like petting a cat this morning and you're just thinking, "Ooh, I gotta raise this bad boy up." Just give this letter a read.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. What do y'all think? Is this what nonprofits that don't actually have a stated goal should be out there doing on behalf of an entire industry?
I think definitely not. Go ahead, Kevin.
That sounds like someone's being paid to use pre-existing clout or quote unquote clout to push an agenda. I think it's completely out of line, especially for a professional organization. I'll give the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. We see union presidents doing nonsense like this all the time. Like, the bar association. Yeah. I'm speechless because I'm like, this is so dumb.
I think it's hubris. I don't think anybody paid for this. That's an interesting. I never thought about it like that, Ben. But I think this is just, the aggressive social mediaization of our entire world, and how everything is, we've forced everything to be so binary, and there's no gray. Everything's black and white. These people who you wind up, if you're the president of the, whatever association of the National Honor Society, right? You probably get this sense of incredible deep self-importance and a deep-seated passion. And so I can understand that if you work for an organization where you probably have, where no one knows what the heck you do, and you probably don't even really understand what your job is, wanting to feel like you're making a difference and doing something, I completely understand. I completely understand why they did this. I also just think it is profoundly unintelligent and inappropriate, because guess what? If you're speaking for a large industry about an issue that is incredibly divisive, and honestly, at this point, I mean, data seems to suggest that the majority of people are not in favor of these controls. You probably should just keep your tiny mouth closed and talk about, reforming PIP law or something that actually matters to lawyers. This is anyway.
Yeah, if you're a member, you should stop.
remember, like, I really want to know. Send us an email. If you're a member of the ABA, let me know why. Because, I mean, I got the letters and I looked at them and I'm like, oh, this is.
Yeah.
So maybe, I don't know, maybe there's a discount. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing out on something. So let me know. Try to sell me on joining the ABA.
I'm like looking at it right now. It's like, why? And it's like valuable content. The Career Center.
Oh,
only discounts. Access to formal ethics opinions. No, thank
What
you.
ethics?
Yeah. Well, that can be useful if you're a lawyer and you're like, hey, can I can I do this with client money, blah, blah. That can be useful. But guess what? Most state bars do that for free. So
yeah, I was just going to say, I bet there's other ways to get that information.
Yep. But all right.
Go to hell.
I wonder what kind of weird things will happen to me now. Well, so, all right, this is something I feel kind of weird talking about this because it's an article I wrote, but it plays in so well with some of the other stuff that we're talking about today. I just punched my microphone.
We heard.
So yeah, we always get this same stuff, right? And every 20 or 30 years, we get a new push to attack X gun, right? And it, back in the 60s, it was the Saturday Night Special. And then after that, it was imported military surplus. And then after that, it was just imported assault rifles, right? Because they're not military surplus anymore because we made them change two things on them. And then now it's assault weapons generally. And if you look, and I went and I was thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? This seems kind of like it only hurts the working class and poor, because I can still buy, right? Like if you've got a ton of money, I'm not saying I can still buy, but let's imagine I had a bunch of money, I could buy whatever gun I want. I mean, except for new machine guns, but a 240, there's two of them on the registry, a minigun, two of those on the registry. You can get them, right?
Or, I mean, yeah.
Chinese AKs, though, that used to come in for $200 that were really good and robust and anyone could use them.
You could buy a 240 no law letter off a gun broker for a fraction of the cost.
Right, but then you have to be a special person with the special paper.
True.
Or if you're, or you could buy the 240 parts kit and a little MIG welder. But
yeah, exactly. There's ways to do it that don't cost 50 or even more than that. Actually,
yeah, I have no idea what the 240 sell for. I think because there's only a couple. But you can still get those AKs that came in for $199, but they're $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the deal here? After the Saturday Night Special ban, you could still get tiny pocket guns, but you had to have one of the ones made in a country where labor is much more expensive than materials, right? And so the price shot up. That's what ties together all of these pushes. And this is my opinion. I think I'm right. But when I look back at it, all of the big gun control we've gotten, it only has one thing in common. It targets popular, effective guns, right? So Saturday Night Specials, they were showing up in crime. Why? Because they were $20 and everyone was buying them, right? People were picking them as a gun to carry while driving or this or that or the other thing. Super popular, so they got rid of them. Guess what? Now the working man can't afford a gun and the criminal has to upgrade to something larger that's now, still able to come in. After the assault weapons ban, you can still buy the pre-ban guns. They cost money, right? After the machine gun registry closed, you can still get the machine guns. They just cost more money. So anyway, the point is so specifically with the Gun Control Act, with the assault weapon bans, etc., they targeted weapons that were cheap and effective. And I posit that now, before the pandemic panic, AR-15s were. Let me just ask you two. What's the cheapest you ever spent on an AR-15?
Oh man, I could get a kit off PSA before COVID for $350 on sale, $400 for a build-it-yourself kit.
Right.
Oh
so,
man,
$400. Yep.
$400. Yeah, everybody $400. And so guess what? It became American's rifle. It became super common. And then all of these AR pistols and stuff, all of the suddenly, after the ban goes off, ballisticians and tacticians agree, hey, these are like really good for home defense. But guess what? They get cheap, they get affordable, people are buying them. And when they're cheap and affordable, guess who also buys them? Criminals, because they're humans.
Yep.
Yeah, crimers. So I don't know. That's my opinion, is that gun control in this country seems to just every 20 or 30 years target the cheapest and best guns and get rid of them. What do y'all think?
I see where you're getting at. I'm also wondering too if manufacturers could be in cahoots too. Conspiracy theory a little bit.
Okay.
Now you can't get a certain gun anymore, right? Can't get it imported. Now you have to go to domestic sourced manufacturers.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have raised that theory. I don't know. That's one of the things we'll just never know. I don't think there's never been a smoking gun come up.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like, I think that's a very interesting theory. In fact, I'm basically, as you watch, becoming a conspiracy theorist about everything. I never knew it would happen. I don't know if I just hit the right age or what, but yeah, I'll pay attention to just about anything these days that I wouldn't have considered even 10 years ago. It's just like you see enough stuff and you start to think maybe that's the case. But what I really think is the things start out expensive because they're new and the materials and the manufacturing processes are expensive. So they sell them and they are expensive to sell them. But the second that poor people can get them, the second that crime people can get them, that's when dollars from an AR-15, they're not going around killing people with it, right?
No, because they're probably somebody who really likes having guns.
Yeah. So if you buy a Cobalt Kinetics and you use it in self-defense, like, you're going to be pissed off because that was a very expensive gun that ejects the magazine when it's empty. I don't know why I chose that example, but so yeah, like when they become cheap for criminals to get, criminals use them. And yeah, I think that's actually a very interesting correlation.
Well, so it's like, and one of the points I made was, so we see these guns show up at crime scenes for the same reason we probably see Toyotas show up at crime scenes, because they're generally accepted as reliable and accessible and are affordable, right? And effective. So, you got all those things together. If it's like, I can buy this nice coach-built, I don't know, like, what's one of them luxury shotguns?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Okay,
those like over-unders.
Yeah, Douglas and Donner London shotgun, like, I just made that up, like Biden got, and it's only $15,000 for me to fly out there and them to fit it to me. Or I can get this here AR for $400. What are you going to pick every time? Right? That's my theory. My theory is we see this gun show up. It's not because they're super killy. It's just because they work and they're cheap. And when you work and you're cheap and you're popular, you become sometimes the victim of your own popularity. And I think it's really sad. And I think that we should point this out. Because look, at the end of the day, if we then close off the importation of these Draco pistols, which, a lot of people are flocking to Draco pistols, and despite a pop culture fixation with the gun, it's an incredibly lucid choice for self-defense. Would you agree?
Yeah. It's freaking awesome. I almost wore my Draco shirt. I literally had it in my hands this morning.
Yeah, no, it's a really good gun, and would trade hands for really cheap before all this happened. And now we're looking at getting rid of these imported, big pistols, right? Why? It's not going to benefit public safety, but it's going to mean like that these guns aren't available for working class people anymore. Because guess what the Draco was? And again, before the panic, the Draco, you could get him for $500. I bought one for $499, and it was great.
They are amazing. Yeah. They're like fun. But I think
fun and lucid in your home. Like, you know, 7.62. It's like, you know, it's a little spicier than the 300 Blackout, which everyone agrees is great for defense. You know, the whole package is like this, super controllable, doesn't kick that bad.
Yeah,
Small, compact.
Yeah, small and compact.
it's a great option.
Yeah, it is, and they're trying to take it away from us.
Yeah.
Well, no, they're not trying to take it away from us. They're trying to make it expensive.
Yeah, they are, because it's like, yeah, they rarely get rid of things wholeheartedly except bump stocks.
Right. Well, you know why? Because there's so many people, and this is where we have to look at ourselves as a culture, right, as of gun owners, that sit there and think, well, I got mine. You know?
Yeah.
So whatever. Right. And so that's why they do stuff like that. That's why all these things have grandfather provisions. Because all these people who are fighting really hard, if like 30% of them, you can say, well, you get to keep yours. And they go, oh, and nobody else gets to have them? Yeah, no, so you're special. They go, oh, awesome. Right?
Well, I mean, I've read many times that there is like an elite group of machine gun collectors and things like that fight very hard against getting rid of the NFA or the Hughes Amendment or, you know, anything that should.
And I hate them.
Yeah, no, I hate them too. Like, honestly, I consider them less than scum.
Right. And like, you know, I'm a collector. I've managed to save up and put my beans aside to get a couple transferable machine guns. And if you told me, you know, and this is like a litmus test, I think, for somebody who owns machine guns. Let me ask you, Shawn. If I told you tomorrow we could make it so that everybody could get new machine guns, but you have to take all the machine guns that you spent all that money on, all your transferables, and set them on fire.
If you told me that tomorrow everybody could get machine guns, but I had to give up every single firearm that I own right now, every single one, I'd ask where you need me to drop them off.
Yeah, no, I'd already be outside with the fire, and I'd just be like, you know, and then the next day I'd be locked in my machine shop, and you wouldn't be able to get me out.
I'd buy every single machine gun that I could possibly find.
Yeah, no, I'd just be like, auto sear. Everything's a machine gun now.
I would give up everything for that.
Yeah, and that's why you are a good machine gun owner.
Those guys.
There's a lot of guys that I've met because, you know, the guns I'm into are much weirder than yours, and so I wind up closer to the collector circle. And I've met some people who have said some things that have made me really upset.
Oh yeah, no, I hope they die, which is, I know, a terrible thing to say about a person, but I don't care.
One person that I know has told me that, yeah, machine guns are a great investment. And I was like, I mean, yeah, I guess, but I would like for them to not have to be investments. I would like that legislation overturned. And he was like, oh no, that'd be really bad for my finances and retirement plan. I'm like,
always one of those.
Yeah, I'm like,
that's the real reason the price has shot up so much recently.
Right. It's like, I get it, but I'm also like, I think there's other ways to.
Because there was a Bloomberg article. I don't know if you guys saw this. There was a Bloomberg article that tracked machine gun pricing. And they determined that it was like the only asset that was not exposed to like market, like, you know, other non-correlated market factors, right? Downsides.
Yeah.
So like during both recent recessions, machine guns appreciated the exact same amount. It's a straight line appreciating asset. And so Bloomberg put out this thing on it. And then guess what? All of these losers started like diversifying their portfolios into machine guns and like just have them locked away. So we can't. So us guys that just want to I just want to have one, right? Like, you know, most people that I know would just really like to own one machine gun. And yet you've got these grand boomers that read Bloomberg, but like stacking Thompson's 12 deep for their retirement package. And, you know, you can't be too mad at them because, like, and you look at it, it's rational. It's turbo rational, right? Like, this asset appreciates 10% every year. Why the heck would I not buy it? We need to be angry at the government, right? And just like what happened with the GameStop thing, we need to do whatever we can do to crash that market. And if we make just even if we just open the machine gun registry and everyone can open new ones, we destroy these stupid grand boomers and nuke their portfolios.
Yeah.
So Wall Street Bets, check me out. Work on repealing the NFA. I'm telling you, Wall Street Bets, they're gonna cry really hard, and you're gonna look so cool.
Oh, and they're
Time
the worst. Yeah. Time in hand.
No, I know people who have literally diverse. These are people like with money, like money that I don't even understand. That are like, oh yeah, no, I put 20% of my assets into into machine guns, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like calculating, and I'm like, that's like 39 machine guns, right? Like really expensive machine guns.
These are things that should be like on tour across the country and shot by children. All the time. Like these machine guns should not be locked in the safe of a piece of crap. Just
139 is what I meant to say.
Okay. I mean 39, that was actually pretty legit. I was like,
no. Yeah. No, like woof. But yeah.
I meant what I said. And I'm not going to pretend like it's not okay. I meant what I said. I hope they die.
Well, there's this interesting thing about time.
Truth.
Time is the enemy of the grand boomer. Okay, boomer. But yeah, I don't know, that was an interesting rabbit hole to go down. But I had fun.
It's a good article, man. And at the Daily Caller, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Is that's what's his name? What's his nuts? Who runs the Daily Caller? I forget.
Oh.
Anyway, okay. Next
one. Somebody. I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, another article on there. Porn star beat up a man while naked at a strip club, and the details are insane. Hold on, I'll be right back.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to talk about clickbait, that's clicky right there.
I mean, I clicked it.
Oh, you did? Are the details insane?
I'm not going to read that. I don't read articles.
Oh, all right. But so given that whole thing we just talked about, right, about how all of this stuff just makes it more costly to get into gun ownership, Illinois lawmakers, what do they want to do? Look, I mean, it's simple, all right? We got all this, we got gun crime. It doesn't matter that it's really not that much and that the numbers are very much down from where we were before. I got an idea.
Okay, I'm ready.
All them people that lawfully get a firearm owner's ID card and have to come back every 10 years or so?
Yeah, I hate them.
Double the price.
Genius.
To how much? And double the time.
Genius.
So they got to come over twice as much. It's going to be good. We're all going to be safe. And we get to go on vacation.
I love it. It's genius. Let's do it. It's going to stop no crime whatsoever, but...
Who cares? Who cares? We're going to mess with the gun owners. Woo! We get to go on vacation. And we get to fund our pension.
Vanek, it looks like it would double to $20. $20. And expire in half the time.
Yeah.
That's still theft. Just $20 is still a theft.
Well, it's like $20 and you got to remember to do it every 5 years.
Yeah. I actually don't remember. It is Illinois, and I don't remember the exact technical term for it, but they have a thing where they can take money from this program and distribute it to other state organizations or state departments. And so there was
a big scandal recently.
They rob it constantly to pay for other public projects and things like that.
And so y'all might be. Sorry, you were saying
it's a slush fund.
It's a total slush fund.
Yeah.
Slush fund. Y'all might be thinking though, because some of y'all live in really nightmarish jurisdictions where you got to pay a lot of money. Or you might be thinking it's just $20, but think about it. 39 cents is too much, because this is just to own the gun and to be able to buy ammunition, right? You guess what? You're not supposed to need to be able to just own a gun and buy ammunition.
Money.
Right. Or anything. It's supposed to be your right.
Yeah.
Imagine paying to go vote.
Honestly, I'm in. No.
I mean, well, whatever. No, imagine it's like The vote is a good one. Also, imagine it's like, oh, you want to come into the public square? Well, it's $10 if you support Lizard A and $38 if you support Lizard B. So if you want to say something, just remember, you know what I mean? Because you're taxing people on the exercise of a right, that inherently discourages it, and so it's like, and it's just stupid. Where did they go?
I think that this one especially, and I think actually, I don't know, I didn't read the whole article, but I think aren't they already being sued because of the time it takes to get a FOID card?
Yeah, well, it's because they like turned it off.
Oh yeah,
they just stopped processing it for a while
because of COVID. I guess
because of the universal excuse.
Yeah, exactly. Right. No, you know me, man. If it's even remotely Jim Crow, I'm out. Like,
right.
It shouldn't cost money. It shouldn't take classes. It shouldn't.
100%.
It's a right. Go do it.
Yep.
You should just be able to walk into Walmart, grab a gun off the shelf, pay for it, and do whatever the hell you want. That is gun control to me. Like, that's it. It's a right.
Yep.
You don't have to pass a test to get on Facebook and spout your nonsense. You shouldn't have to pass a test or pay anything to exercise a second either.
I want to literally get on WeChat and DM Narinko and be like, hey,
my gosh,
can I have one of them bullpup full auto AK things that you guys got, them QBZ things? And they'd be like, yeah, it's this many shit coins. And I'd go, done. And then I want a drone to just drop it like right in front of me. That's the Second Amendment to me. Not only the Second Amendment, but also like the roots of our country when it comes to importation of arms. Is like, I should just be able to literally contact whoever, wherever, and be like, I want this thing.
Yeah, totally agree. But I also love the drone delivery as well.
Yeah, that's cool too. And I hate the FAA because they keep me from that. Hello, doggo.
And guess what? Like, yes, bad people will do things if that becomes the case. Well,
right.
Tough crap. Sorry.
Well, and guess what? If a bad person tries to do something to me, I don't care because I have a QBZ 95.
Exactly. Yeah.
But okay, so you guys might have been wondering whether we were going to talk about it, and I know that this has been making the rounds. You know how I know? Every week when I go and I pick out the topics of what we're going to talk about, I look through everything. Like 20% of the stories I looked at had the word Pincus in the title. And I'll say this up front. Rob Pincus has been very nice to both me personally and Shawn. We've both known him for years. And he's never been anything but positive with me.
I consider him a buddy. I do.
Yeah. I consider him a buddy. I have a good time when I hang out with him.
Yeah.
It seems like, though, a lot of people don't.
He has made a lot of people mad lately, it seems.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So there's two things that seem to have happened that I noticed. And Shawn, you might know more about it because I think you're a little closer. One is Rob went, he got together with, who was this guy from like Everytown or some former Brady campaign?
Yeah, he's the former president of the Brady campaign. His name's Dan Gross. I think Pincus Rob was going to do something with him at SHOT Show a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. And when the NSSF got wind of it and basically shut it down. And apparently, like this Dan Gross guy, yes, he was the former president of the Brady campaign, but apparently he's had like a change of heart. And look, I don't know the guy at all. I'm just like basically what I recall. This is all very anecdotal. Apparently had a change of heart and has been having discussions like in the opposite direction, which I think is actually a pretty good thing. Again, I don't know any of his positions or anything, and that's just what I've absorbed. Do I trust him? No. But then again, I don't trust anybody ever.
Right.
Yeah.
So Dan did say, and I remember back at the 2A rally, which is Pincus's thing, Dan Gross said, the common ground I want to talk about here today represents an opportunity to keep us all safe without, now wait for it, I was there when he said this, without any involvement of the government. and everyone went nuts. But so it seems like some of the stuff that was said in the article was talking about like expanding like background checks, expanding or requiring registration, just some, and it was like in a very like pick about way, you know what I mean? And so that's the thing, is that if you're Dan Gross and you're trying to come in and like open yourself up to the gun community, which I don't know if that's what they're trying to do. I think they were trying to write some like bridge piece to try to open themselves up to the anti-gun community. But I don't know. It just seemed, the whole tone of it, it's been a couple days since I read it, but the whole tone of it just seemed confused. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I skimmed it a little bit. So first of all, like if there is something that I'm not interested in the universe, this is it. Mm-hmm. Like I skimmed it a little bit, but I really don't care what they say. Like there are, I don't know, advocates. I don't even know what the right word is. There are people out there who their only job is to talk about politics and things like that. And I can't do anything worse in the entire universe. Like that is not me. So I skimmed it a little bit. I don't always agree with the things that Rob says. We have sat in my office 15 feet from here and we have disagreed over my desk about certain things. And then we laughed and we moved on to the next topic. Like this is not a thing I'm interested in. I know that Rob is a very staunch Second Amendment advocate. Like I know this, but I also know that Rob is very much about promoting his businesses and things like that. So I don't know where this like falls into that. Mm-hmm. But I read it. I was like, don't like this. No, because I am absolutely not one more bite of my cake. Mm-hmm. Not one more. Much. Yeah, you've already got too much of my cake. Not one more. Not one step. Not one compromise. Eat a dick.
Yeah. In fact, I'm the one who's saying, no, open your mouth. I want my cake back.
Exactly.
And I'm going in.
Yeah. And are you familiar with this at all?
Yeah. So I've actually responded to some of Rob Pincus's postings online, and I think this is a very uniquely misguided proposal he has regarding background checks as well as like file DRM even.
Okay, wait, so hold on. Before you cover that, let's talk about that because that's a separate thing. So the 3D gun community has noticed, and actually there's another man implicated here, and he's on the other side of the screen. There was a video. I know I'm just messing with you. But there was a video that Rob did with you, Shawn.
Yeah, sitting in this chair.
Sitting in that room. Right. And I watched it back then, and I was just, I watched it, and there was a couple things he said where I was like, huh. Right. But it's normal because he kind of like thinks as he talks. That's kind of how he is. And I'm kind of that way too. So I understand. Sometimes I say things I don't mean. But he said something about like, and they were talking about it on Twitter. They had found this video and were saying basically that how I understand it, how these people read what he was saying was that homemaking gun right now is like Napster, and he said, and we are going to get it to Apple Music, right? And that we are going to do this, and then he was talking about like traditional gun companies like licensing you to print like 3 copies of a gun frame, and they're going to let you do that, and the serial number is going to be baked into the file, and it's going to have your like initials in it and stuff. And like, to me, and Vin, I want to get your take after this, but to me, I couldn't tell if he was saying if what we meant, right? So like, does we mean his company, right, wants to be providing the service, or is we the 3D gun community? But then if we's the 3D gun community, why would the 3D gun community want to get to that like DRM thing?
My clarification real quick, and then I want to go to you, Vin, is I watched it just like right before the show because he texted me and he's like, did you see this? And I went and I was like, what? And I looked at the timestamp. He says we, and then he stops, pauses, and says, not me, but we. I think the we that he's referring to is the gun industry. And he even, comma, not me, comma, and then continues on. That's how I read it. Not just then, but also when I rewatched it today. Now, do I agree with that? Hell no. Vin, what are your thoughts?
All right. The cynic in me thinks he says we as in my company or my corporate money backing, etc. The charitable part of me says we 3D printing gun community. But if he's really talking about 3D printing gun community, I don't see why there'd be such backlash if he is truly talking about our interests. It really sounds like he's talking about a business interest he has in mind. And so I'm a little confused by that too. And he meant by we, and I hope that I'm pretty young, right? And I hope that a lot of some of the viewers or listeners who are a little older probably remember the history of Napster. Napster went from a free, peer-to-peer, this almost decentralized minus the central server for indexing, almost decentralized file sharing service, who then came crumbling down after legislation and interest groups got in the way, and then it relaunched as a pay-for-music service at Metallica, and then never really had the same luster or notoriety, that it once had. So Napster to Apple Music actually sounds like a horrific downgrade, and it's beguiling to me that Rob would suggest such a thing, especially when the mantra and the whole purpose of free and open sources, free and open source alternatives to proprietary software, traditionally speaking.
And so I do, after talking to Shawn and stuff, I think that what he might have been thinking is this is a way to get the gun industry on board.
That's how I see it.
But here's the thing. Vin, do you want anything to do with the traditional gun industry?
Absolutely not. They are not supportive of us. They've either ignored us or told us no. Just look at a particular popular cheap gun manufacturer who the community's been pleading for parts kits.
It's high.
And then they came out and said, "Oh my!" Then they came out and said, "No, we're not going to do parts kits." It's okay,
yeah.
Why?
Behind the scenes, insight to a lot of this stuff. I can tell you very specifically that there are people at High Point that think it's the best thing in the universe, and they love that idea. But there's other people that sign checks that don't, right, or that are afraid for other reasons. Going back to Napster, Columbia Records was terrified. They were like, "We're going to go out of business, and we can't pay our artists, and we can't, we can't buy cocaine for Motley Crue. This is a problem." And it turns out that it disrupted the entire industry, but in an amazing way, right? In an amazing way. And
that's why we have streaming now.
I am not a Pincus apologist. I absolutely am not. In fact, I disagree with very many things that he says. But we're both adults and we're both men, and we can have disagreements and still come together over things that are important, like the actual Second Amendment. So I think because it was very flow of consciousness, thinking out loud, is that maybe Smith & Wesson does employ Vin someday to make models, to design CAD programs of things to release into the public domain. And this is pie in the sky, in the future, right? Maybe they get to that point because they see that there's value in this. Polymer 80 15 years ago, would have been laughed out of. People don't want to build guns in their own home. Right. And is that even legal? Yeah. No. Now we know it's legal. Now we know that thousands and tens of thousands of people want to build guns in their own home, and eventually the gun industry will come around. And they are afraid right now, but that fear, I don't think, is a reason to revile them and denigrate them. I think that fear is a natural thing. Having lived through Napster and oh, holy crap, I pay for 10 different video services, but I literally have used the Pirate Bay within the last week because I go and I try to pay and I try to do the right thing. And when I can't, I just pirate that shit because I don't care.
All right, we got him.
Yeah.
Boys move in.
I do it through a VPN, so good luck finding me in Sweden, losers.
Yeah.
No. So I try to do the right thing, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. And these companies, like, they will come around. But I will say this, the music industry came around in my lifetime. The music industry came around in a very short amount of time. Don't forget the TV industry. Don't forget cable and over-the-air broadcasts. Like, these things take a lot of time, and it takes a lot of time to swing the direction of these big monolithic empires that have existed for a long time with no competition and no one to disrupt that space. Of course, it's going to be painful. And if we just say, well, forget them, I hate the gun industry. Well, they're never going to actually get there, because it is literally you are that one. You are that young guy. Matt, you are that young guy who are coming up right now. And you guys are going to be the ones when my time is done that are going to be leading that charge into new and interesting directions. And if you just push them away now and you never speak to them at all, like, how will that gap ever be bridged? Now, yeah, screw it. Like, whatever. I get it. They suck. They're old and they suck. And honestly, the gun industry is 10 years behind every other industry out there.
Right.
So it is going to take time, but someday there may be a time when Venn works for Smith & Wesson and models things and releases it to the public, and then they sell parts kits that the public can then use to build those things. Maybe.
I'd rather a timeline where Venn owns Smith & Wesson.
Yeah, there you go.
But
maybe that's one future that's
right.
timeline.
Well, and so let me clarify that. So I was when I said that, I was just kind of like saying, this is kind of the vibe that people in the 3D gun community have, is they kind of feel kicked in the pants, right? They feel kicked in the pants by a lot of these big names because they keep, like, seemingly intentionally changing the designs of their guns to make it harder and harder for us to do what we do. Speaking as somebody who's actually, and again, to you guys who think it's really hard out there to CAD, I'm a stupid lawyer, and last year I didn't know how to CAD, and we're testing my first gun design now. So you can do it. But I will say, I have met people in the gun industry that are traditional gun industry people that have been awesome and supportive and wanting to get involved in the stuff we're doing. So they're out there for sure. But it is, like you're saying, it's what we call creative destruction, right? And if the home build community is going to get what it wants, right? The market is only so large, right, for firearms generally. Granted, it's a fairly big market, but there is going to be, some things are going to be destroyed if we do have this total freedom to innovate and create our own guns. It may mean that some of the big companies get a little big or get a little less big, right? It could mean that. And at the end of the day, that's a good thing. But I think that goes into what you said, Shawn. It will be painful to make those moves, because those people who are in those positions who will lose their jobs will not be happy about it, right? They may find work, they may shift, they may pivot, they may now be like working to create better 3D printing alloys or something like that. But yeah, like it's called creative destruction, and it's like growing pains. It really hurts. But if we can all be on the same page, right? And that page being that self-defense is the core of our republic and the core of what a rational system of principles and policies is based on, that under no circumstances should a person be told that you cannot control your physical autonomy, then I think we can get to the good result. But if it's skewed and we can't all agree, and if there's a lot, and if there's if 25% of the market is saying, well, no, it's that we have to just do it this way because that's the way Grandpapa did it, it's going to make it a lot more painful. But so I guess to kind of echo your not defensive Pincus, I will say he is a person. I'll reiterate, he is a person that I believe figures out what he's saying while he's talking. So if he would jump out in front of it and just be like, hey, this is what I said, I totally get it, here's what I meant, I would accept it. And I think that's totally fair and reasonable.
Yeah, I don't know. Vin, what do you think about all that we just said?
I think that ideologically, it's going to be a bit for us to all get on the same page. But we all know the popular term being thrown around lately in politics called grifter, right? I think the people that quote unquote grift are the ones that have their ideology tainted with personal gain. And I think that tainting of personal gain is what really corrupts and derails a lot of good work that could have been done. So, out of charity, yeah, I think we'll all get on the same page eventually. I'd love to be able to, share my non-traditional ideas with, a manufacturer with pretty much unlimited resources to make crazy ideas come true, like experimentals and stuff. Though I do think that we all have to get on the same page first, and finding that page, I think that's a great first sentence for that page.
Yeah.
What Matt said, maintaining our right to self-bodily autonomy in self-defense is a good starting point. It's just a lot to work through, and I don't think it's going to be an easy battle, but the battles worth fighting are usually not easy.
No, totally. And honestly, like discovery and creation is the right side of this. You're on the right side of this. You're just fighting a big, huge monolith that doesn't want you in their playground, and you're just going to have to create your own playground, and you already are. And I think that that's amazing. And I'm so happy to see it. And I'm so happy that you do it publicly. Like,
that's hardcore. That's
cool. Like that is the one thing that is in the 3D printing space that I've been kind of happy about, is that he is a very public figure. He is a lightning rod in a lot of areas, but him doing it normalizes things. And Vin, the fact that you're here and you're showing your face, it is at great risk, I think, ultimately, but you're here and you're doing it. And I think it's wonderful, because they see a young man that is smart, that is doing very creative and wonderful things. And I think that helps normalize it very, very much. Like they see me, they're like, oh yeah, fat white guy with a beard. Awesome. Nope. Redneck. But like they see Matt and they see you, and they see these people doing, and Alex, and like just all these people doing these interesting things. And they're like,
well, me and Alex aren't very approachable, but look at Vin.
Yeah.
Just look at him. How can you look at that and go, that's an evil gun printer?
No, it's awesome, man. I love it. I love it. And I don't know. Pinka steps in it a lot. I think that just to wrap my thoughts up on this, he steps in a lot. I totally understand why some people don't like him. I do consider him a friend. I don't do any business with him. But that's,
I like hanging out with him.
That's what it is.
It's always fun.
Yeah.
But I do think he kind of stepped in it here. And I think he should I think it would be really cool if he would just jump out in front and be like, I understand what y'all are saying, and this is what I meant, and I'm sorry if you took it the wrong way.
He's a lot like me in the aspect that if someone was like, hey man, that's kind of lame, why would you say that?
Right.
You know what? Totally agree. Like I was just kind of thinking, but in retrospect, it's kind of a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
What's really happening, people are like, that's stupid, and you're a piece of crap for saying it. And he comes back exactly like I would. Well,
it's like, no, you're stupid.
Exactly. It's like there's a lot to be said in the way it's approached. And like, honestly, this DRM thing comes up right after this whole Dan Gross thing comes up. All I know is that Military Arms Channel owes him a lot of money for taking the heat off of him.
Mm-hmm. By the way, I was on the list, Tim.
Like it went from hating Mac to now everybody's hating Pincus, and I think that he owes him.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Mac owes Pincus.
Yeah.
Hey, yes, Mac, go ahead and send Pincus my SVD, and then I'll go pick it up from him.
Perfect.
Oh, I did it again.
Do it.
Keep punching my mic.
It's okay. You're not used to being there. You're like,
no.
Face.
Makes a funny noise. Thump. Thump. Well, all right, so I got two more stories. One's, hello, Alex. Alex is talking almost into the mic. Buckeye Firearms Foundation.
Love them.
They really cool cats over there.
Yep.
So there was Cincinnati had its own bump stock ban, right? Because we got to do something, right? We got to do. Look, we did all this stuff, right? Yeah, Alex. Stupid. They're dumb. And so there's a lawsuit. It's been going for 3 years now, and they just finally, the Supreme Court of Ohio handed Buckeye Firearms a win, saying that Cincy, no, you can't just do that. It's preempted by state law. So I think that's cool. Obviously, it doesn't do much right now, but it at least shows some backbone in the judiciary there up in Ohio.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful. Actually, a bunch of my buddies at Second Call Defense are part of Buckeye Firearms, and they're constantly having wins. And yeah.
You got a win right here.
Yeah, they take very few L's. They're all about them W's.
I meant Kevin.
Okay, I get it now. I'm sorry that I stepped on your joke.
It's okay. I stepped on a few of yours.
But yeah, this is great. And I have to admit, I did cut my bump stocks in half, but I have some good reasons for it. I was in the process of selling a house that I'd been in for 21 years. Mm-hmm. I was moving stuff into a storage unit. I don't consider that a secure thing. And then I was moving into a smaller place just until I figured out if I wanted to buy another house or whatever. And I was worried that, if something dumb happened and someone broke into the storage unit, or like that they would find these bump stocks.
Right.
And it was just like, because I was in a moment of flux. Otherwise, I absolutely would have not done it. But yeah, I cut mine in half.
How many did you have?
4.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're dumb. Like, they weren't even installed. They were sitting in a bin because I hate them and they're stupid.
Have I told you what I did when that thing happened?
No.
Oh my God. So this is going to sound awful, but whatever. If you think I'm awful for this, you already think I'm awful. So when that awful, horrible shooting happened, one of my colleagues came up to me. They're like, Matt, you always talk about how machine guns are never used in crime. Listen to this. And he had his phone and then headphones on. And I put it down. I take his phone. I put my headphones on, and it was an audio clip. This is right when it happened. And I go, and I listened. And I handed him back his phone and his headphones. And I turned around to the computer, and I went on Optics Planet. And they were on sale. I ordered the maximum amount of bump stocks I could. And then I turned back and I said, that wasn't a machine gun. I literally did that. And they were on sale. I was able to put 5 in my cart. And I didn't keep those for long. There was y'all know what happened.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that was
because I know lots of people are suddenly finding bump stocks because of some of the news. By the way, that to me, that's
no, I sold mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
People think now that bump stocks are illegal, and I'm like, I don't think that's how this works.
Right. No.
Right. So, like, if you think you may discover a bump stock, like, don't discover it yet.
Yeah, no. But no, so to be clear, I sold mine back when they weren't even remotely slightly illegal, so I'm good.
No, I cut mine in half on the day.
Yeah. Wait, what?
I cut mine in half on the day
the bad day. Yeah.
That opinion
went. The day with that video with the crane or whatever.
Yeah.
Remember that? That made me mad.
I knew the dude who all those belonged to.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Anyway, good job, Buckeye Firearms.
Yeah, good job, Buckeye. You did it. Now do it again with other things.
Yeah. Want to come to Colorado?
Yes. Can you ship some of them Buckeyes over there?
Yeah, we need them.
All right, and last up, Delaware. They got some of them high-capacity clip-a-zones over there. Well, thank God. They want to do something about this. So a Democrat-led Senate committee has released 2 bills, one to get rid of them high-clapazines, and another to require anyone who wants to buy a handgun to first get a permit from the state.
A permit per handgun?
Yeah, like a purchase permit type deal.
What?
Yeah, like how in North Carolina, which totally wasn't a Jim Crow thing, right? That same type of deal. I find this stuff repulsive, deeply. Permits to purchase a firearm are just ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I do not stand for this. They said it'll cost $4 million and $3.6 million annually after that. Like taxpayers in Delaware, you're okay with that? $7.6 million.
It's not my money.
Yeah, no, it is your money.
The government's money. Right, Alex?
One thing I hate about our taxes is that they go to causes that are pretty much adversarial to us.
Right.
They go directly into harming us.
Yep.
And so I don't think Delaware.
Yeah, none of my money goes directly to harming me at all. Right? He says while drinking.
Okay.
Everything I own harms me.
Yeah, I have a cat. Constant agony and torment.
Oh, there we go.
Craziness, man.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that's all the news stories. Again, Vin, let people know again where they can find you, because I do think that y'all should follow him. He does occasionally post like animal art, but that's that's all cool. You follow him for the crazy guns. Yeah. So Vin, tell people again where they can find you.
So you can find me on Twitter, Nguyen, KBVN, Nguyen, KBVN. It's more of a stream of my life and work. But you want Just Guns, Instagram's where it's at. Same handle, Nguyen, KBVN.
There you go. And I follow him on everything, and it's great. It's great.
Followed.
Done. There we go.
Thank you.
A follower. That'll be $15, man. But
actually, I was number 3,000, by the way, on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It was me. It was 2,999, and then me.
And then,
oh yeah, Patriot Patch Company. Look at that.
Oh, the top quality PVC. The type that I really like, the jet. Right. It's that, some of that PVC, it just doesn't sit right. It leaves like marks on your teeth. This is the good types of patches.
It's the tasty type.
Yeah, show them, Shawn.
Look, I just took some off of some stuff in my office to put on my patch wall.
Size doesn't matter.
Gobble this.
Ooh, grenades. We all love grenades.
'Tis the season. They did a Firefly. I don't know if you guys are into Firefly or Serenity.
Right.
But they did a whole series on those. Like, I have so many, like, right here just with me.
Colonial Pocket.
Yep.
PVC, yeah. Pocket.
All of these. But yeah, if you like patches, patches actually make good decoration.
Yeah, they do.
Patch walls, they make wonderful wallpaper. Because I'm going to have this whole studio covered in patches in about, I don't know, by my estimation, like 6 months, the way this is going. But yeah, if you like patches, go check them out. Patriot Patch Company makes some of the best designs that I've seen. They're actually, I think they're my favorites because they're funny and they're witty.
Well, yeah, in the Patch of the Month Club, it kind of like just gives you, just something interesting to just surprise you and brighten your day every month in the mail.
And if you've ever wondered about Lady Liberty wearing nods,
oh my gosh,
45.
Right. Of course, she's got to have a 1911.
Yep.
You got to have boomer porn in there.
Absolutely. And knuckle gloves.
Yeah, with the Oakleys. But it's still a cool patch. And we've got a code for y'all, Twig10. It'll let them know you sent us and save you a little bit of money.
Patch.co is where you go.
Right, there you go.
Awesome.
All right. Take care, y'all.
Bye.
Peace out.